say, and I would say that all of the adults in the room would probably agree, I am so impressed with how you came into this room. Can everyone take your right hand and just pat yourself on the back? Very good. That was absolutely outstanding. And I know you're going to be absolutely wonderful for this presentation. We are very, very lucky. Where Mrs. Anderson go? Oh, Mrs. Anderson? And, we have Mrs. Klein. We also have Mrs. Ragusa. Our PTO, our cultural enrichment group. The PTO, of course, boys and girls, is all of your parents. And these are some board members from the PTO. And Mrs. Anderson in particular has arranged for today's, we call it cultural enrichment. And that means that we learn more about our own selves. And we're very, very lucky that they were able to get Miss Curran here today. I've known about her for many, many years, so I'm very excited to finally meet her. I think I met her at one point years ago, but to finally meet her in person today is a real thrill for me. And Ms. Curran right now works for the Screen Actors Guild in New York City, and she makes sure that everybody gets treated fairly. So here at South Elementary, what is the thing we always say? Be what? Be kinder than necessary. That's right, be kinder than necessary. So it's really her job to make sure people are kinder than necessary to all people. And she travels all over the country to speak, and also has a full-time job. So we're very lucky to have her here today. We thank the PTO, we thank her for being here. So let's give her a big South School welcome, boys and girls.
Thank you. How many of you have seen a person like me before? Wow, that's a lot of people. Usually when I walk into a room, I see someone who has never seen a little person before they meet me. So their judgments are based on what they see in TV. I'm sure a lot of you have seen elves and leprechauns, and sometimes little people are portrayed as those characters. So if someone comes up to me and they've seen a leprechaun or an elf do something silly, they'll treat me in a not so silly way. But if they see someone doing something really great, they'll be really kind to me, and I try to encourage everyone to be kind to everyone. Even though I look different, I can do everything that all of you guys can do. I was born to tall parents. Most people like me are born to tall parents. And I have a sister who's also tall or average height. I grew up playing soccer, I swam, I did skiing and sailing. A lot of people ask how I did participate in those sports. There's never really a right way to participate in these sports. It's as long as you're participating. So even if I was a little slower than everyone else, it felt good just to participate. I went to school just like everyone else. I was in elementary school, middle school, high school. Then I went to college. And after college, I moved out to California to start my work in the entertainment industry. And a lot of what I've wanted to do is related to changing what people see on TV. If they see a little person or someone in a wheelchair or anyone with any type of difference, we want it to be a positive portrayal because it affects how we're treated in life. I enjoy doing things just like all of you do in your spare time. I spend time with friends, family. I like to take pictures. I like to take walks. I like to go to the beach. And I want to take this time to really get to know all of you and what curiosity you may have. I always tell people no question to me is offensive because I want people to ask me questions so I can educate you. Just like if you see someone who's different in public or even at school, it's important to take a step back and think, how would I feel if they approached me this way? And it'll allow you to be kind to that person. And once you get to know that person, it's okay for you to ask questions. You can ask questions and ask them how they do certain things. And in most cases, people are more than willing to answer your questions. Sometimes if someone may not be ready to answer the questions, it may just be that they're having a bad day. It may not be related at all to how they feel about educating you about their difference. I always encourage people to ask questions, and after I have you guys ask any question you want. I would also like to know kind of what's on your mind and what you like to do or what you want to do in the future. It's okay for things to change. When I was younger, I wanted to be a doctor. I'm not a doctor, but I'm still able to do something that I'm passionate about. So let's get these questions started, because I want to know what's on your mind. Well, the purple fleece. And you can say your name, too, before you ask the question. What is the question?
Can you go running?
Yes, I can go running. I actually have 2 friends who are little people like I am, and they run marathons. I think it just takes the proper training, because if I'm not running every day, it may be a little painful if I just do it once in a while. So it takes working out and being able to start and practice. But I can do that as well.
Do you have any pets?
That's a great question. He asked if I have any pets, and I do have a fish.
Do you ever walk or live on the sidewalk?
Do I walk on the sidewalk? I do. I walk a lot. Since I live in New York City, I don't have a car, so I walk all the time. But definitely on the sidewalk, because I don't want to walk on the street in front of cars.
How do you drive around in the car?
That's a great question after the first question. Because I live in New York, I don't have a car now, but before I did have a car, and I did get a car or was able to drive a car at the same age as everyone else, 16 and a half, and I have pedal extensions. So when I'm sitting down, I'm the same height as an average adult, but my organs and everything are more compact, but I'm still the same height as everyone else. And I have pedal extensions that go from my feet to the actual pedals of the car. And then I have to have my seat a little closer to the wheel because my arms are still short. And sometimes we may have to deactivate the airbag because it is so close to me. But it's possible. I've driven cars for many years. When I was first born, my head was a lot bigger than the rest of my body. So they knew something was different. And still my head is larger than average. But the doctor, when I was first born, had seen a little person before, and that's how they knew. But I have a lot of friends who are also little people, and they may not find out till 6 months after being born. It all depends on who's in the room and who knows what the diagnosis is. Skeleton? That's not an odd question. I'm 30 years old.
What's your favorite thing to do?
My favorite thing to do? That's a good one. I love taking walks, and I like taking pictures while I'm on those walks.
What's your favorite thing to eat?
My favorite thing to eat is sushi. Do any of you like sushi?
What's your favorite sport?
My favorite sport is definitely soccer. My favorite color is blue.
Do you help kids when you're sad?
Of course. I love to help kids when they're sad. I want to make them happy and tell them that it's okay.
My name is Ben. I don't have a question, but I'm gonna be sailing.
That's so cool. Where are you going to be sailing?
I don't know.
On the water?
My name is Andrew. What do you like to take pictures of?
Oh, that's a good question. I like to take pictures of bridges. There are a lot of bridges in New York. I don't have any children, but it's possible, and I could someday. Yes. Both motor and sail. That's a good question. It is hard to reach doorknobs if they're high. In our house, where I grew up, we had some of them that are a little lower, and instead of a doorknob, we had a door handle, so it would be easier to grab and open.
How's your life being so small?
How's my life being so small?
Yeah.
Sometimes it's challenging if things I need to get are up high, or if people don't treat me kindly. It can hurt sometimes, but I try very hard to be comfortable with myself and not let it get to me. But there have been times where I've felt excluded, but it's important to just stay positive, and I just find ways to adapt since I don't really have any other choice.
Do you have any tall friends that can help you reach things?
I do have tall friends that can help me reach things. When I was in high school, I had a lot of friends who were almost 6 feet tall, and they were very helpful.
How do people treat you?
People can be nice. As I was saying earlier, if they see a little person in a positive light, they'll be kind. But if they don't, sometimes they'll be mean. But those people who are mean, sometimes I just ignore and only talk to the people who are kind.
We actually say that sometimes, At South School, we say, stop, walk away, and then we get an adult.
I think if you ignore it, that teaches them a lesson too, that they're not being acknowledged for their not so nice behavior.
Right? We talk about that all the time.
Have you been on the red carpet?
I have been on a red carpet. I helped out with a film festival, and we had a red carpet there. And I went to one of the Fast and Furious premieres, and I've been to different events in Los Angeles when I lived there, and some in New York. I do have two roommates. There are three of us, and they are both little people. So we have an apartment that we haven't had to make any adjustments to, but we just have a lot of stools around.
Did you know that any other schools still talk about it?
Did,
You go out of school? Is that what you're saying?
oh yes, I do go to a lot of schools all around the country.
Where have you been? I think they would love to know that.
I went to Maryland. I've been to a lot of schools in Massachusetts. I've been to schools in New York, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Hampshire, Washington, D.C., and Kenya. I went all the way to Africa. I like watching hockey sometimes. I don't like when it gets intense, when they're all attacking each other, but I did play on my street growing up. We played street hockey.
Where's the farthest place that you went?
So the farthest place I went was Kenya. I had to stop in Europe and then take another plane to Africa.
What's your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show is Big Bang Theory. It's on.
What's your favorite restaurant?
My favorite restaurant, I like anything that's on the water. There's a really good restaurant in Boston called Strega that I like. And anywhere with sushi. That's a great question. So I get my clothes at the same store that a lot of adults get their clothes, or depending on people's tastes. Like this dress is from the store Express. I get a lot of dresses because I don't have to change anything about them. But when I do get clothes like pants and long sleeve shirts, especially for the winter, I do have to go to the tailor and get them altered. But I go to stores like Gap, Old Navy, H&M, a lot of the stores that everyone else goes to. And sometimes there's actually, this is a 3/4 length sweater, so it's long sleeve on me where most people would stop right here. So even in the spring when they have these sweaters, they can work for me in the winter.
Have you ever went to the New York parade?
Which one? Oh, the Thanksgiving Day parade? I have been. I almost went this year, but the weather was a little crazy. But I have been in the past. It's fun. It's very cold. Did you say you went? That's cool. Is it fun? Were you all bundled up?
Do you ever ride a bike?
That's a great question. I had a bike when I was younger with training wheels, and I also had a Hot Wheels Barbie car, and I got used to that with the electric car feature without having to ride a bike, and then I just neglected to finish learning how to ride a bike. But I hope to try again someday.
Where's your favorite place to go?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, my parents have a timeshare in Hawaii. I enjoy going there because it's very relaxing.
Do you drive in your car
I do drive in a car.
all by yourself?
Yep, all by myself.
Remember she talked about that before she was sitting down? Okay, just gonna go to the other side, then I'm gonna back down. Okay.
Have you ever went
Florida.
I have been to Florida. I went to Disney twice when I was younger. And then I went there I'm part of this organization called Little People of America. So I went for a convention in Orlando. And then I went spring break one year in college. So I've been a few times. What do people treat me like when I'm just...
In elementary school.
Oh.
What was it like for you growing up?
So when I was growing up, I actually had a friend who was in my class from preschool to 7th grade, and that really helped me have someone to help me out when people would point and laugh and stare. And it also made me not as aware of what was going on around me because she was very protective of those things. So there may be times where I had friends who would stop people before I saw them when they were making comments. And I think that really taught me that it's okay to just look forward and be thankful for the friends I have. But there probably were people who said things that I just didn't notice. And hopefully it's better now. So hopefully none of you ever say anything bad to someone who looks different, and try to be their friend. I always tell people as well, if you see someone who's sitting in the lunchroom by themselves, invite them to come eat with your group. And it's also up to the person who's sitting by themselves to feel comfortable to ask if they can sit with any group. No one should have to be alone. I have seen the Statue of Liberty, and I think I've been up to where the feet are, but someday I want to go to the top. Have you seen it? No? Do I like football? I try to understand it. I'll watch it. It's fun to watch it around friends, but I can't stay concentrated too long.
I'm surprised at the guy wearing the Brady jersey.
Are you married?
I am not married. But it's possible, like anyone else.
Where's your favorite place to sail to?
My favorite place to sail to? Well, I actually went down to the British Virgin Islands, and we rented sailboats, and it was just so beautiful to go to all the different islands. So I would say any small island.
Do you have kids?
I don't have kids, but I can someday.
Have you went to Nantucket?
I have been to Nantucket. I actually was in a swim meet in Nantucket. They have a swim team that we competed against.
Do you like traveling a lot?
I like traveling. Sometimes it's tiring, but I enjoy it. I like going to new places.
My mom ran a marathon.
She did? Was it the Boston?
Ran from Boston.
That's cool. My favorite holiday. That's a good one. I would say Christmas. Do I need a what? Oh, that's a good question. Because when I'm sitting down, I'm the same height as everyone else. I don't. But that is a good question.
Have you ever been to Florida?
I have been to Florida. They asked over there.
Have you ever been to Nantucket?
I have been to Nantucket
What do you like to do on rainy days?
on rainy days. I like to play board games. Do you like to play games?
What's your favorite animal?
My favorite animal. Well, I always wanted a dwarf rabbit. I just never got it. So I'm curious about them.
What's your name?
My name's Becky. What's your name?
What's your favorite country?
My favorite country? Well, I haven't been yet, but I really want to go to Australia. But I can't make that decision until I go and see it.
Do you live by yourself?
I have 2 roommates.
Have you ever been to Florida?
I have been to Florida.
Do you like to play tag?
I do like to play tag, do you? It's fun.
Do you run?
Do I what? Run? I can. I just don't do it too much. I want to do it more though. What did you say? When do I go skating? Well, sometimes I go ice skating. I went in Boston a few times. I do celebrate Christmas. Do you? I like baseball. It's fun to watch or go to the games. I went to the Padres game in San Diego. Oh gosh. Oh.
Counting last night?
Maybe about 100.
What kind of games do you like to play?
What kind of games? Well, I like Pictionary, Scrabble, Sorry. Is it Life? No, Life. Connect 4. Isn't it pretty? Did you go sailing when you were there? No?
What's your favorite type of candy?
Oh, my favorite type of candy is Crackle. I think it's by Hershey's. Or Gummy Frogs.
Have you went to Santa's Village?
There's so many of them around the country because he visits all of them, but I think I've been to one maybe in Boston or New York.
Have you been to the one in New Hampshire?
No, I haven't. Have you?
Have you been to Hawaii?
I have been to Hawaii, Maui, and Oahu.
Have you been to Florida?
I have been to Florida. Everyone likes Florida here.
Yeah, you must go a lot.
Have you ever been to a basketball?
I have been to a basketball game. I went to Providence College and they have a good basketball team.
Where do you work at?
I work at the Actors Union in New York City.
Are you smart?
Am I smart? That's up to you guys to answer. If I'm smart.
Yes, say yes.
Sure.
What's your favorite snack?
My favorite snack. Oh, that's a good one. They have special K-bars, and they have a flavor called chocolatey pretzel. It's really good.
What's your address?
New York, New York.
When's your birthday?
My birthday's February 3rd.
Raise your hand if your birthday's February 3rd. Cool. We have quite a few.
It's a good day. The day after Groundhog Day. Where's the...
Who has the microphone?
Have you ever been to Antarctica?
I have not been to Antarctica. Have you?
What's your favorite football team?
My favorite football team has to be the Patriots, right?
Do you celebrate Hanukkah?
I don't celebrate Hanukkah, but I have friends who do. I work in the middle, in Midtown in Manhattan. I have been on a horse by myself. I get a little scared though about falling off.
Where do you live?
I live in New York City.
Did you go to the Grand Canyon?
I did go to the Grand Canyon.
Your favorite book?
My favorite book. Well, my favorite children's book is The Little Engine That Could. I think I can. I think I can.
It's with I know I can, right?
I lived in California for 6.5 years.
Remember to put your hand down if you've already asked a question.
I have one sister. She's older. She's actually a teacher.
Teacher in Hingham, right?
Yes.
Right next door, boys and girls.
Have you been in a movie?
I have not been in a movie, but I was actually a stand-in in a movie where I stood in while they were setting up the cameras for a young girl.
Have you ever been to Paris?
I have been to Paris. When I was in 11th grade, I went to Paris and Munich.
But do you have any disadvantages?
Disadvantages? Well, I would say I'm not the best candidate for basketball. I think my only disadvantages are those that others put on me. So if I don't think I have disadvantages, then I don't think I have them. But sometimes you feel them from other people. I never got into chess. It's confusing. Do you play? Maybe I'll just have to learn. So the state that's furthest away would probably be Washington State. So I've been to Seattle. What?
How do you hope to change the world?
Oh, that's a deep question.
Furthest state to change the world.
I want to get everyone to be kind to each other because then we'll make this world a better place.
How tall are you?
I'm 4 feet, and I always say 4 feet 1 inch, but it's 4 feet and 1/4 of an inch, but I round up.
Have you been on big rides?
How do I get on big rides? Well, if I really want to go on it, I'll use a stool to get on. But sometimes I just don't go on them. Do you mean like at amusement parks? So there's usually someone to help who's standing there.
So she's answering how she gets on a ride at an amusement park, because I'm sure that's very much in your life space.
Yes. Usually there's someone there to help, but it sometimes determines whether or not I decide to go on the ride.
What did you do in college?
In college, I was on the sailing team, and I also helped start a speaking club so I could practice my speaking. And I was part of a business club so I could learn more about businesses. And my major was marketing.
What college did you go to? Or you didn't express it?
I went to Providence College in Rhode Island.
Do you play hopscotch?
I have played it in school. It's fun.
Are your parents little people?
No, they're over there. They're tall.
Will you give me a
I have been to the Empire State Building all the way to the top.
What street do you live on?
I live right near the George Washington Bridge in New York.
How many languages do you speak?
I did take French for 5 years in high school, but I only remember a little, so I would say just English.
What's your favorite hockey team?
My favorite hockey team, don't I have to say the Bruins? When you're in the city where the team is, you have to go with it. So if I was in another city, I may have to say the other teams just to be safe.
What was the name of your soccer team?
Well, I was on the Weymouth Youth Soccer and Weymouth Girls Soccer, so they didn't really have names, but we were just based on the colors of our shirts.
What's your favorite soccer team?
My favorite soccer team. I liked watching the Revolution growing up. And of course, USA in the World Cup.
Have you been to a Red Sox game before?
I have been to a Red Sox game. I actually met the owner recently.
Okay, boys and girls, we have time for about 3 more questions because we have to get you back to class and the next group in. So I'm looking for the people that are the quietest and facing front and have the best smiles on their faces. Let's see. Jack, you're ready.
Have you ever been on a duck commuter boat?
A duck tour or the commuter boat?
Duck commuter boat.
I have been on the commuter boat. It's fun to take it into the city. Have you?
Okay. All right, we'll get one from the middle and one from the other side. Would you hand out the audience to ask the question, please, boys and girls, that's behind it and necessary? Right here? They didn't at all? Okay. All right, go ahead.
My uncle's in Africa.
Cool. Do you know what part? Do you know what part of Africa he's in?
And south.
South Africa? It's supposed to be really nice there.
Does he live in there?
Yeah.
Okay. Come on. I mean,
What do you do on sunny days?
What do I do on
sunny days.
sunny days?
I thought you said
I like to be outside and walk as much as I can.
Yeah. We're all glad to see the sun today. They've been inside
Yeah.
a lot this week. So we're
And you guys, just those of you who still have questions, I'm going to give your teachers my information, so maybe they can send me an email with the rest of the questions and I can answer them.
Yeah,
And then they can read them to the class.
you go and write them. So boys and girls, on the count of 3, can you all say a big thank you to Becky for being so patient and answering all our questions? On the count of 3, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Thank you all.
Fantastic, and we thank you for being here, and we thank the PTO. How about a round of applause for